Alright, so after much speculation about if I quit my job on TikTok, if I'm unemployed, what I'm doing with my life, I've decided to finally make the video that every single Gen Z and millennial makes when they hit a quarter-life crisis. With inflation at record highs, incoming recession, job cuts left, right, center, layoffs just all over the place, and minimal savings in my bank account, I've decided to quit my stable corporate job to pursue my, wait for it, purpose. Oh god. This decision kind of came specifically when I was working in private equity. That's when I started to kind of think to myself, damn, I might have to say goodbye to corporate for a bit because your boy was just tired, guys. I'm not gonna make this video like super long and dramatic. I'm just gonna be explaining the what, the when, the why of me quitting my corporate job and what I'm looking to do with my life now that I'm navigating a quarter-life crisis with minimal savings in my bank account and no stable paycheck for the foreseeable future. So this should be a fun one, so stick around. Alright, so I'm going to give you guys a bit of context. Going to university was always a natural progression path in my family. Being the eldest child from an African household, I didn't really feel like I had much choice. And then my mum went to university and graduated with a 2-1 whilst being pregnant with my sister. So it was kind of a no-brainer that I would have to go to university as the eldest child. And I would say I've always been a just above average student in education, mainly B's with the occasional A's here and there, until I did A-levels where I was extremely humbled. Honestly, these kids nowadays getting 5 A stars in A-levels is just amazing. But I got below average grades and I didn't get into my firm choice to study economics. I ended up going to a non-Russell Group university to study banking and finance, which I'm forever grateful for because it made me the man I am today. A corporate dropout. Anyways, whilst I was in university, I figured this was the last chance I had to actually change my life trajectory. And I set a couple of goals for myself. Number 1 was to get a first-class degree. Number 2 was to get a corporate job and make it to the exec level. And then number 3 was to become the biggest landlord in the UK. And in my mind, this was the 3-step plan that was gonna basically make me rich before the age of 30. And I ended up getting a first-class degree. I was doing the corporate thing on my way to have a senior title and make 6 figures a year before I was 30, most definitely. And I would have sufficient capital to kind of get my first property and start my property business. But then I decided to just throw all of that away and just quit. During my 4-year stint in corporate, I bounced around various different industries. I started off in compliance, working in a fintech firm, which was super dope because I got to meet a lot of cool people. I got to fly out to America every year, and coming out of uni, that's like just a sick experience. This is nice. White friends doing cocaine with my...
You're so annoying. Say hi.
But then I decided to move into consulting, which I feel is where I really developed as a professional and just in life generally. I feel like when you're working in client-orientated roles, you very much just have to pattern up, get your shit together, be super organized. So I'd always advocate for people starting their career to go into consulting. But then another thing as well is that my mindset on money really shifted when I started working in consulting because I got exposed to what wealth actually looks like. And that's because most of my clients were like private equity firms controlling a stupid amount of money. And they were just normal people. So in my head, I was thinking, rah, like if they're normal and they can do it, then so can I. So I decided to jump ship and move into private equity. And this is where things kind of started to go downhill and take a downward spiral in terms of me thinking, not really feeling this corporate thing anymore. 2020 was where I started to take content creation somewhat serious. And I also started Beyond Education. And a lot of you OGs that have been following me for a while, you know what Beyond Education is. And this was all when I was working in consulting. And although the job was super, super demanding, the firm that I was working for was so supportive of everything I was doing outside of work. Like the CEO would promote my LinkedIn post, he would promote my channel to everyone, my YouTube channel to everyone in the company. And overall, because I really enjoyed the work, I didn't really feel like it was hard to manage everything that I was doing, even though it was a lot, but it was easy to manage when, you like work and everyone's super supportive. When I moved to private equity, I was essentially restarting my career again, especially as an intern. So I had to really be present at work, AKA staying late, FaceTime, like going above and beyond and all this stuff. Like I was working in the office 4 to 5 days a week, getting home super late. And I started to kind of just lose sight of all the things I enjoyed doing outside of work, which was mainly content creation and running Beyond Education. And although I was kind of making it all work, everything was starting to feel like a chore. And I honestly felt like I wasn't even putting my best foot forward at the private equity internship because I was just stretched so thin. Then I started to think to myself like, yo, what if I just quit and do my own thing like I enjoy it, and just, you know, put all my energy into something I enjoy and see what happens. And I started entertaining the thought day by day, and I was mentally checking out for my private equity internship gradually, to the point where I was just like, okay, Stephen, right, here's the plan. You're gonna quit this internship, you're gonna get a job with decent hours that you enjoy, and you're gonna get paid an above average salary. This ended up landing me a middle office role in asset management. And the people were great, the work hours were perfect, the money was set good, but I just wasn't really feeling the role. And broadly speaking, I think I was just overworking for someone in general. It got so bad that at work, I'll be fantasizing about quitting. Like literally, I'll just be at work daydreaming about quitting, thinking about running a business. I would even start drawing up vision boards and brainstorms of like paper at work about what I would do when I quit, when I'm gonna quit. The end of my probation was coming up, and I was just like, yeah, Stephen, like you can't continue to live like this. Like you actually have to quit, because this is not for you. This is not good for your mental health. This is just not good at all. So on Wednesday, the 30th of November, 2022 at 5:30 p.m, I sent a resignation email to my manager. 1 month later, I received my final paycheck from the man, and January 2023, here I am taking a career break to try and figure out this life thing. As some of you may know, in 2020, I started Beyond Education, a community dedicated to helping people access and navigate the corporate world. And over the years, that community has kind of evolved, and we now have a narrow lens of connecting underrepresented talent to early career opportunities with inclusive employers. And on the lead up to me actually leaving my job, I started networking with a lot of companies to understand the recruitment landscape from a junior talent perspective, particularly looking at just diversity for junior talent. And although there's a lot of progress that's been made, you know, there's a lot of companies working towards making organizations more diverse, there's still a lot of work that can be done to provide unequivocal access for underrepresented talent. And I personally just feel like I'm the right guy to do that. So I've essentially decided to quit my job to help other people get jobs, which is quite mad when you say it out loud, but that's effectively what I'm doing now. Don't get it twisted. This is still me going through a quarter life crisis. And I guess my YouTube channel is just going to be about an insight into someone in their mid-20s navigating a quarter life crisis and what that looks like. So if that sounds relatable and you want to be a part of the journey, then subscribe, turn on post notifications so you don't miss a thing. If not, deuces.